What's going on, guys? Back for another quick trade recap. Today we made, give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up the calculator real quick. 1628 times 2 plus 777 plus 782 made $4,800. 3,000 of that being on my two evals. I just passed them today with that 3,000, and then the rest being about 1,500 was on our sim funded. So now those have a nice balance. They're sitting at 1,700 and 1,500 because the one day where it kind of glitched out and didn't close the trade on one of my accounts with the trade cap year. So it's about $200 off per account, but it's all right. Both are still pretty high up buffer wise. And yesterday I took one trade. It wasn't even a real trade. It was a scalp off open. It was a 5-minute inverse, and I literally targeted 20 ticks to hit a $100 day because I didn't want to trade on a bank holiday, but I did want to hit that $100 day. We had SMT, a 5-minute inversion, so literally off open, I just targeted 20 ticks, and in the first like 10 seconds it hit it just with the quick volume that spiked. But let's hop into today. So with that being said, I only need 2 more days of $100. So basically I could get a payout Friday, but we will see. We're in no rush, nothing like that. I'm pretty sure the next 2 days we have a lot of news. I will double check that right now. Today we didn't really have anything. I think a lot of FOMC members are talking, but none that are like, okay, never mind. So I thought we had news, maybe because the government shut down. But yeah, so we don't have any red folder news all week. I'm not a huge fan of that. But I mean, market's been moving, so I guess I can't complain. Let's hop into today. What was I looking at? So I ended up taking a short and a long, but coming into the morning, these are some of the highs that I marked out. Problem being with those highs is ES had taken them. So we have SMT with those highs, which kind of pushes me to want to go bearish, right? But what I kind of wanted to see before going bearish was potentially just this high getting swept, this first high, and seeing a move off that, because we are delivering from a 1 hour fair value gap. And then overnight, obviously, we inversed and disrespected PD arrays, and then we bounced off the order blocks that we created. So I did want to see a move up off open, and then also at 7:45 we delivered off a 15-minute PD array, respecting it. So my thought process was, at least after doing all that, delivering from a 1 hour, delivering from a 15-minute, I thought that we might at least take out this high right here, and that would have been my trade for the day. Would have been done, would have been out of the market, because I was expecting some type of move. Let me see, where's the path? Okay, I was expecting, so we built this high, came down, came up, tapped a PD array. I thought we'd get some move like this, take out the high, and then dump. We didn't get that, so we didn't take out any of these highs, but that's all right because there was SMT, so I was open to being bearish 100%. And so then, I mean, obviously you can see open was absolutely ridiculous. Off open, there was no manipulation higher, nothing like that, and we dropped 100 points, which kind of sucked because it was taking out a lot of the drawn liquidities. I will pop up the previous sessions so that we can take a look, because I did actually target Asia. But you can see lows that we had built at 7 a.m. London didn't really have anything, and then you have like intermediate lows during Asia and whatnot, and then this low right here and this low right here were really what I targeted on my first short. So yeah, so you can see we took out all these lows that I would have loved to target. If we would have dumped like to here or something and then got some type of pullback, I definitely would have targeted this low, stuff like that. But we didn't. We just straight flushed, and then we created this 5-minute, and we never we never tapped back into it. I'm going to go over a couple trades, or the trades I took, but I'm seeing right now, I just hopped back on the charts. I just grabbed breakfast and stuff. So this is kind of a hindsight trade, but there's a trade right here that looks pretty clean. We'll see how it looks on the lower time frames or whatever, but let's go over mine. So what did we get? We get that huge dump off open. I definitely didn't get the best entry, right? But like in terms of where I got in, I guess height wise it wasn't the best, because obviously if we got in up here, RR is even better. We could have been done with one trade. Um, Things like that. Like if I get on this first 1 minute tap, targeting down here, I mean that's almost 400 ticks. You would have got chopped around, right? So I did get a good entry in the terms of we dumped on my candle. So I don't know if that's luck. I don't know what that is, but so we'll see. So I kind of wanted to see and wait if we got to pull back to this 3 minute, which we did not. We didn't get a pull back to that 3 minute, but I'm going to check something real quick. So we have a 1 minute right here, a 1 minute gap right here. I just want to see something. 43, 943, 943 right here. We took, oh, so we did have like SMT at the highs. 43 went over 42, but not 41. So we had SMT at the highs, but not necessarily right at our entry point. But this was my thought process. SMT at the highs, we got this huge like breakdown. And then this candle right here, we get an up closing candle, and then we get a nice down closing candle below that. So honestly, I could have entered right there. And then this is even more confirmation. Like we push up again, but then dump. So then I enter, because I don't even think at that point that I had Asia sessions marked out, because I was also opening to see some type of reverse, because as I just showed you, you could see ES was building up. So my thought process was, okay, ES might get a slight pullback, and then we'll have SMT at the lows with NQ. And if we get some type of entry, we can target highs, because ES might want to take out like opens high and stuff like that, or whatever. But then when I realized how close we were to Asia, I was like, nope, drawing liquidity way more important. I don't care about the SMT and whatnot. And we did have SMT at the highs, so it worked out. But hop in, immediate dump. I'm not sure what this was all about. But this candle itself was 60 points. So I had this set, my TP set to 300 ticks, because on the evals, I wanted to pass them. But I was copy trading it across 4, which means my sim funded were also being traded. So I was open to hitting 1500 on those accounts as well, but I wanted to be smart, because these are my draw on liquidities. So once we dumped past that, I trailed super tight. So I ended up getting out on this upwards closing candle, like, well, obviously right here, but it did dump, and I think it ended up hitting 300. Yeah, so I ended up hitting 300, but I was trailing pretty tight because this was my draw on liquidity, and I didn't want to lose it on my funded, so I was just securing as much as I could. So I had taken a loss prior to this because I was longing up here, not realizing Asia's session was right there. Super stupid of me. Definitely could have avoided that. So I was down about like 175 on the accounts, and I was open to risking like upwards of 250 on the day, at least for my fundeds. The evals were whatever. I could have continued trading them. I just would have had to reset the trade copier to make a new leader and whatnot. But we didn't have to deal with that. So this trade, I was up like 1,000 in this trade, but because of the loss I took prior, I only ended up on those accounts like just under 800, like 770 or whatever. Which is perfectly fine with me. Like I said, the buffers are pretty big on those now. I'm 2 days away from a payout, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, so I trailed tight. So then I did need to hit another trade, but this was the perfect spot to hit another trade because we're not getting great retraces, right? We're just dumping, chopping, and dumping again. So I'm already expecting some type of retrace on top of the fact that we just took out my bearish draw on liquidities. So now what am I looking for? I'm looking for some type of CISD. I'm looking for SMT at the lows and whatnot. So we come down, we dump past this stuff, past my draw on liquidities. We end up actually creating SMT right here on top of the fact that ES never at that point hadn't swept Asia session. So we have higher time frame SMT, lower time frame SMT. So right there, you could have waited for this 1 minute inversion that I have marked out. But for me, this was more than enough. We have double SMT basically. We just reswept liquidity, turtle souping it. We're seeing that we have great bottom wick. So I'm seeing buying pressure. So boom, I'm in. As soon as we close like this, I'm in. And then this 1 minute inversion's even more confirmation. So I actually, a lot of the times I'll go break even too early, and I don't quote unquote lose trades, but I lose out on profits doing that. So with this, I did not, I kept my stop right here at this low because we had SMT. It's a protected low. I believe we're probably in some type of PD array at that point. All things considered. I mean, yeah, like a 1 hour, we're in a 1 hour order block. There's probably 15 minutes. Yeah, like 15 minutes, probably a 30. Yeah, 30 minutes. So we're in all this stuff, right? So I'm very open to just holding the trade on top of the fact these are just evals. So at this point, I had closed my sim funded, so I was not copy trading them anymore. I was cool with making just under 800 on the day on those. So I stopped copy trading those and I just did evals. So I was open to more risk on these on top of the fact that I was already up on the day on the evals, so I could risk even more. So this is a beautiful trade that I could have taken on my fundeds, 100% could have taken on my fundeds, and that would have been amazing because it would have been basically a $2,000 day on those fundeds, which would have been huge. I'd be sitting at like $2,600 in the balance, but that's all right. I'm not rushing anything. I'm not forcing anything. I was cool with this. But yeah, so then we get the 1 minute inversion, which is even more confirmation. Maybe some people entered off that. SMT just swept previous sessions. 1 minute inversion with stops at the low. You could target this as TP1 and maybe something up here as TP2. If there's like a 5 minute unmitigated or something. Yeah, so boom, 5 minute unmitigated that you could have targeted, which is what I was going to get into. So boom, TP1 or break even where I went, and then you can drag your full TP could be right there. That's an absolutely beautiful trade, and you can see it played out perfect. 1 minute inversion, a nice pullback. We bounce off the 1 minute order block, SMT below still. We come up, hit your break even point if this is what your break even point is. Boom, drop down, respective 1 minute fair value gap, get great displacement up. At that point, I would be so comfortable. And honestly, some people could have even entered there. You get a pullback into a 1 minute fair value gap where you get crazy displacement out. If you enter there, targeting the 5 minute, I mean, it's 20 points, nothing crazy, but you could have a pretty tight stop maybe. Let's see. 20 points, a 1-to-1, it would be pretty close. Yeah, it would be pretty close. Well, no. This is glitching out bad. 20 points. Yeah, you would have been good. You would have been good. I mean, it's definitely not the best RR, but that entering there is like the safest bet, quote unquote, because we're obviously disrespecting bearish PDRAs. We're obviously respecting bullish PDRAs, and then you're getting great displacement up. Personally, I wouldn't take that because I would probably have been in much earlier, but to each their own. But yeah, so then you target the 5 minute out there. So now we're going to go over the trade that I was thinking had potential. This is hindsight. I just saw this. So like I just marked out this 5 minute unmitigated, boom, right here, right? I just want to see something. This is 45 and this is 10-10. 45, 10-10. Okay. So there's SMT there. So ES did actually hit this gap as well. It hit it earlier. But you could say it's delivering from an order block and a 5 minute inversion or a 5 minute PD array right there. So honestly, with that being said, because we have SMT right there, you could have entered right off the sweep. So it would have been a turtle soup entry because this displacement candle does get a CISD with SMT above, delivering from a PD array. So that's a good entry. It's just the only thing is, I guess it depends. Like, what do you, if you target this, it's over a 1-to-1. So yeah, it works out. You do get chopped around a little bit. You could have potentially waited for a pullback to this 1 minute. And that would have potentially even been better. So if you wait for this 1 minute pullback, it's even less chop and you actually just hit TP much quicker, but that could potentially just be like a hindsight trade, like that this is more clean. A lot of people probably got in off this CISD. If anyone took that, I do think that's a very clean short. The only problem with me for that is that we already took out previous sessions. We have SMTs at lows. So this would have been a beautiful trade if we got this kind of action right up here. Like this would have been the type of pullback I was looking for up here to target said draw and liquidity. It's still a good trade. It's kind of like a pattern trade in a sense, but it's still good. That's hindsight. Obviously, that's the first like clean pullback, which is the retracement that we call it. Like I was talking about, it does need some type of retracement after dropping so much right off open. But yeah, this is a pretty long video, I'm not gonna lie, but it was a lot to break down. I think today was a great trading day. Go check out the TikToks I posted a screen recording of this trade right here. I actually didn't get this one because it was literally, it just dumped so randomly. Like I didn't even get to fix my TP or anything. Like I got into the trade and then it just dumped. And I had to like quick react to everything. There's no way I could have got my phone now and screen recorded anything. Well, that's all right because I got this one. And it was just as clean. And honestly, it just made more money. So it's probably better for a TikTok. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Drop in the comments if you took any trades today or if you took similar trades. Make sure to go check out my TikTok. It's the exact same @ And yeah, we'll catch you guys tomorrow and we'll be on, as long as they get activated, we will be on 4 sim fundeds. Same game plan. We're not rushing anything, trading 1 mini. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Peace.